quote one of the most talented modeling artists out there, my friends. Comment if you know where that's from. Of course you do. My friends, hi. This is On the Bench for towards the end of July 2024. Basically, I want to cover what I'm working on, what I've, well, not what I've completed, because I have trouble with calling anything complete. Alright, so this is the first model that I made when I got back into modeling, which was in the beginning of maybe April. Hand painted Tamiya SAS Jeep. There's a video on my channel about it. It's not great. I mean, it's a great kit, don't get me wrong. What I did to it wasn't great. It's okay, I tried to do some scratch building and so on, but like I say, I just got back into modeling after, I don't know, I think the last time I touched a model was maybe 5 or 6 years ago, which was a Shelf Queen that I have over there. I'll talk about that in a second. So this got hand painted, got over painted several times because I wasn't happy with color, but then I tried to do some weathering. I got some pastel pigments, and yeah, well, it's okay, I guess. Latest addition was the cord at the front, you know, as like a towing cord, which was scratch built. So yeah, it's a great kit. I want to get another one with maybe some resin figures, get maybe 2 or 3 more of these, and then do like a proper SAS diorama, maybe a camp with the LRDG command car, and then a camp, and maybe a well, and so on. You see my first feeble attempt at a EVA foam base. I think it was my first attempt. It's come out okay for a first attempt, I think, but it's just not going to be the base for this. I'll probably cut this up and use it for something else, something better. Okay, enough time spent on this fantastic kit, which kind of looks okay, I think, for a first attempt after coming in after like 6 years of not touching a model. All right, so, excuse me, excuse me, a smoker. All right, so that was brush painted. Next, I dug out my airbrush and my compressor kit, and I did my first attempt again in many years to airbrush something. So this is an Airfix Mark 1 Spitfire, I believe. It's the starter set. I got this off Lidl. It was like $7.99 in Lidl, and it was just really to test my airbrushing skills again. I put it together in the afternoon, I think. And the seam lines prove it, but let's not delve into my mistakes. And so airbrushing, yeah, it came out okay. And then I wrecked the decals. Look at that. I did use micro scale and micro sol, gallons of it, but because of the, yeah, I'm not gonna make excuses, it just sucked. I just messed up those decals. Not too happy about that, but I started using my airbrush again, so that's okay. And it'll go in the back of the shelf where nobody can see it. All right, after that, I got a very obscure kit. It's a Hasegawa, ancient kit, and I mean, it's so old that they've reboxed it several times with a little bit of censorship, which this one doesn't have, as you can see. So I apologize if you're offended. I'll move it over here. as well as those symbols on the side, which might offend some people. The chap over there, that, you know, that little dickhead there with a mustache, his arm is also raised in that pose that is, you know, controversial in this vehicle. And so his arm is still in the box. It's painted up, but I'm not going to put it on video in that position. I'm not too happy even putting those symbols up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into a little bit more detail. This is 172. I'll tell you what, it was not easy to paint up these figures in 172 to look the slightest bit realistic. But I think, let me see if I can focus here. Focus. Yeah, little bugger. Focus. I was able to do an okay job. I'm very happy with the paint color. Excuse me. Very happy with the paint color. So this is a Mercedes G4 staff car. As you can see, it's a 6-wheel drive. It's a very cool car. There's not very many of these. I think only 3 or 4 survive, and most of them are either black, silver. This one was supposed to be, according to the box art, supposed to be silver, and one of them is dark blue. And I've seen the video on YouTube of that one restored and running these days. So if you're interested in this car at all, please go take a look at YouTube and find that. It's dark blue. It's not this color blue. It's like a midnight blue kind of thing. But I couldn't get my blue to work that dark and still look. I mean, look, I've modeled armor and stuff like that. I'm not used to modeling glossy stuff and, you know, glossy paints. So what I did was I took my blue that I had, I mixed in Tamiya clear blue, and I mixed in Tamiya, what was it, white titanium? Very, very little of it, but that gave it an almost like a metallic fleck, which obviously was way too modern for this kind of car, but from distance it doesn't look like a metallic fleck at all. It looks like gloss, and obviously no weathering. This is the parade car. This is where big guy here, that dickhead there, and his other big dickheads over there, focus, go around parading their big penises. You know, look what we've done. We've killed so and so many people. Bunch of twats. Anyhow, don't look at the base. This is my first attempt at cutting up what you call it, foam card. It's the kind of foam with the paper on both sides. And here in the UK, you can't really get the stuff that comes off easy. And so every time you try to rip off the paper off the foam, it just gouges out. So that was my first attempt at any sort of cobblestone in that, and more attempts required. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Shelf Queen. Alright, there's a video on my channel about this bird, ME262. It's a Hobbyboss. It's a fantastic kit. But what happened was I started this about 7 years ago, and got it to a state where it was almost complete, but not complete, with like maybe, I don't know, 20% to go. Forgetting to put the nose weight in the nose, which meant that, yeah, tail sitter. Most of its life, it's been a tail sitter. Now I got some stuff called liquid gravity. It's for railroad enthusiasts, I think. It's basically a little shot, metal shot, and I made a little hole and filled the nose with it, and so it's just about holding, but not quite. But what I also did was these, I believe these are fuel tanks, right? Extended fuel tanks, extended range fuel tanks. These are also filled with liquid gravity. And so they're going to go on the front and they're going to help it go back down. Now, Shelf Queen is still on the shelf because I painted this so long ago. The paints that I had for it have gone bad, and I kind of want to give it another hit of RLM 76 on the bottom, because I never kind of painted these, and you know, and so I can't really color match them at the moment with my colors. You see, it's way too light to the RLM 76. So because I'm cheap, and I'm not cheap, I'm on a budget, I'm waiting to kind of put together a little bit of a bigger order, instead of just ordering one RLM 76. Unfortunately, the hobby shops around me don't have RLM 76 in stock, so I have to order it online, and I'm not going to pay shipping for just one color because I'm cheap. Okay, moving on. All right, so having made the Spitfire over there, starting to use my airbrush, and before moving to the Mercedes G4 over there, and before going back to the Shelf Queen, I picked up an Academy kit, and I do love Academy. I mean, they're not the first, you know, they're not top of my list, but for the price that they do, you know, they're really good. But you know, they might be good, but sometimes the modeler is the weakest link, which is the case of this. This is the AH64A. So it's like the first Apache that was made. So it's the first model, I believe. I do have the parts of the kit which makes it into the longbow, but I went for the A version. This is an Academy kit, 148. Great kit. It does go together quite well for the modeler who knows what they're doing, but when somebody like me buys them, I fuck it up, and I'm not gonna show it. You know, the artist who shows his defects is a poor artist. There are some errors in the construction of this kit due to me, perhaps my impatience. It started at the beginning, but you know how it is. You know, people who do woodworking might know how it is. If you make a mistake that's like a millimeter to begin, and then you keep repeating the 1 millimeter mistake, by the time you end, it's a 10 millimeter mistake, and there's a gap. So I had gaps. I had to put in filler. I'm not going to show it. But what I am going to show is the beautiful details of this kit. This kit is quite good. I should have maybe gotten a resin part for the gun down there, or maybe at least like drilled out the barrel, but I didn't. But it is a great kit, an Academy kit, and I'd buy it again. The thing is, I do love helicopters, but the what do you call it? Not wingspan, blade span. Do you call it blade span? It's just massive. It just takes up so much space. So like I want to do the 172 Chinook, the new Airfix one, but who has the space? Okay, and to go along with this in 148, I got, and I'll show that in a little bit better detail at some point, I got the Hasegawa Airfield Crew kit, which is amazing. It has 2 vehicles, and I will show it a bit better. I only did one so far, and it's not finished. Nothing here is finished. That's why it's the on the bench review. These dudes, these figures, dudes and dudettes, lady over there, are only zenithal primed in black and light gray at the moment. Not even those shades are colored yet. And then I just put on just the skin tone. And that's all I've done. But 148 Hasegawa, look at the detail. They are really good. Obviously, with proper painting, it'll look even better. I'm gonna try glazing. I haven't done any glazing yet, but yeah. So that dude there, messing with the machine, military police dude, is gonna have like a red beret kind of thing, and the lady there, she's supposedly working on some machinery at the back of the, well, they're supposed to be for airplanes, for jets, but they're kind of gonna fit in, even though that is Army, and they are they're not Army, Air Force, I believe, technically, but I don't know. Doesn't matter to me. Anyway, let's leave them to their business over there. Naughty. All right, so that's what I have on the bench.